You're listening to KSG Podcast. This is a short, crisp, concise, exam-oriented, edited editorial for civil services aspirants. In this podcast, we are going to talk about RBI's new tool to control inflation. Source for the content is the Indian Express. In the Monetary Policy Committee MPC meeting, the Reserve Bank of India in April 2022 introduced the Standing Deposit Facility, that is SDF, an additional tool for absorbing liquidity at an interest rate of 3.75%. We're talking about the role of SDF. The main purpose of SDF is to reduce the excess liquidity of 8.5 lakh crore rupees in the system and control inflation. In 2018, the amended Section 17 of the RBI Act empowered the Reserve Bank to introduce the SDF, an additional tool for absorbing liquidity without any collateral. By removing the binding collateral constraint on the RBI, the SDF strengthens the operating framework of monetary policy. The SDF is also a financial stability tool in addition to its role in liquidity management. The SDF will replace the fixed rate reverse repo, that is FRRR, as the floor of the liquidity adjustment facility corridor. Both the standing facilities, the MSF, that is marginal standing facility, and the SDF will be available on all days of the week throughout the year. Now let's talk about how it will operate. The SDF rate will be 25 BPS below the policy rate, that is repo rate, and it will be applicable to overnight deposits at this stage. It would, however, retain the flexibility to absorb liquidity of longer tenors. It would, however, retain the flexibility to absorb liquidity of longer tenors as and when the need arises with appropriate pricing. The RBI's plan is to restore the size of the liquidity surplus in the system to a level consistent with the prevailing stance of monetary policy. Now, talking about the reverse repo rate, the fixed rate reverse repo, that is FRRR rate, which is retained at 3.35%, will remain part of the RBI's toolkit, and its operation will be at the discretion of the RBI for purposes specified from time to time. The FRRR, along with the SDF, will impart flexibility to the RBI's liquidity management framework, the RBI said. Now, finally, the question of liquidity. The extraordinary liquidity measures undertaken in the wake of the pandemic, combined with the liquidity injected through various other operations of the RBI, have left a liquidity overhang of the order of 8.5 lakh crore rupees in the system. This has pushed up the retail inflation level in the system. The RBI will engage in a gradual and calibrated withdrawal of this liquidity over a multi-year time frame in a non-disruptive manner beginning this year, RBI Governor Shaktikant Das said. That's it for this podcast. Thank you so much for listening. To join KSG India courses and to crack the ICE exam, visit ksgindia.com. You can also get a PDF of this podcast on ksgindia.com. Thanks for listening.